Hello, it's me, Nick Webb again. I know I sort of said I would wait till the middle of the week to post this, but since I've already got an album I know I can review, I thought, hey, why not do it now? Um, and this album, well, it's not really an album I'm reviewing per se. It's not even an EP. It's sort of some weird amalgamation of the two. It is the latest release by possibly the most sort of forefront progressive, forefront and current progressive metal band on the planet, and that's Periphery. And if you haven't worked it out by now, the release I will be reviewing is is a release called Clear. It was released in early January. I have listened to it pretty extensively, I think, and the concept of it, as I said, it's not really an album or an EP. It's a bit strange, but also absolutely fascinating to me. Um, the basic idea is that the album would have an overture, sort of a 2 minute track, which would end up having all the kind of the main melodic themes that would be going on over the course of the album. And then each member, so that would be the three guitarists, Jake, Mark, and Misha, the bassist Adam, or Nolly as he's better known, the drummer Matt, and the vocalist Spencer would each get to write their own individual track. It's a fascinating concept because so often in bands you get one person that writes the music or one person that writes the lyrics or you get people that sort of collaborate on songs, and those are all well and good concepts, tried, tested, true, have come up with either some stinkers or some pretty awesome geniuses. You can do, but what interests me about this is that it's effectively six different takes within the same band. It's six different takes on the same on the band's genre, and that is absolutely fascinating to me. And also, not only that, and the point I'm going to come on to first with this review is the production quality, because each member has also produced their own tracks, not just wrote them. And this means the production, I mean, it's all vaguely similar. It seems as if they all have an idea of what they want the band to purely sound like. But you can tell there's slight differences in how the guitars are mixed in certain tracks and on how the drums are mixed in certain tracks. Um, Even to the point of how many guitars are playing on a certain track. Sorry, itchy eye. It's fascinating, and I think it comes across incredibly well. It comes across incredibly solid, incredibly dynamic. The, the quiet bits are quiet, and obviously with Jet, there's the ambient bits. They're done very well. And when it's heavy, particularly when it comes to like sort of big breakdowny sort of riffs, it just has the correct, a huge amount of impact, which would be just perfect for a release of this kind. Excuse me. The lyrical content is something that I'm not that good at talking about lyrics, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, again, it shows. All I can say is that Matt Halpern, the drummer, his track, which is called "Feed the Ground," which I'll come on to again later, is probably the angriest of the songs lyrically because whether it's just the tone of Spencer's vocalist, Spencer had recorded all the vocals for all the tracks, so he's the only person that's technically on all the tracks. Um, yeah, just beat the ground. I think is my favorite lyrically because of its intent. Because it's very intense lyrically, and it has a good range of feelings and quite frankly, the words just flow very nicely. So that's my thoughts on the lyrics. Now, to go through it song by song, as I said, there was an overture, which is a mixture of piano based and a few kind of heavy kind of chordal pattern things, which I think it's unlike anything the band has done before. So it sort of makes sense to have it as an overture because then it can lead into to the release as a whole. Now, track two is where things kick off in earnest. The first track, which I believe was written by the guitarist Jake. Jake Bowen, is it? Yeah, Jake Bowen. is called the Summer Jam. It's catchy. That's it's vocally it's incredibly catchy, with with, with kind of a lovely kind of interweaving, harmonizing vocals, and the now that the now kind of ingrained mixture, ingrained nice mix of scream, of harsh vocals and clean vocals, and and actually very nice backing vocals. As I said, it's probably the out and out catchiest with just how some of the riffs were, with how the music, as technical as it is, could still work with catchy vocal hooks. It's definitely catchy. Is catchy, I think, is the buzzword. And that's not to say it's bad. By no stretch, it's a really good song and a strong start to the release. But the key word there is catchy, which can't necessarily be said for the next song, which was written by John and Matt Halpern, with the help actually of the vocalist Spencer. Feed the Ground. It's it's not gent as that song. That song, I don't think you count that song as gent, as they call Periphery gent. It's not gent as we know it, fully, because it's it's almost a bit punky in a way. It's got a very driving drum beat, as you'd expect for a song that was written primarily by the drummer, and the guitar parts are they're not simplified. Well, they are simplified, but not in the kind of overly simplified way. They're just kind of more of a straight rhythm than I'm used to seeing from Periphery, which again, no bad thing. It shows they can. It shows they're not just one track minded in the way they write music. But the best bit has got to be the riff break, that sort of breakdowny riff they have, that they use after the first and third chorus. It's just a proper little fantastic headbang little moment, which I'm extremely fond of. Next song written by the man who actually writes the majority of Periphery music anyway, Misha Mansour, again a guitar player, is called Zero, and it is an instrumental. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, yeah, it's good, it is good, but it just sounds like everything else that Misha's ever written. It sounds a bit like, I don't know, it's as if he's kind of bottled it a little bit. But this is a song you've had to really, really pay attention to the very fine details to. The fact, well, first of all, my favourite moment is a bit of a song that comes in about 3 minutes. Those who heard the teaser they put of it, it's basically that part of the song is my favourite part of the song. Just the fact that going from the going from the 5/8 to the 6/8 time change, constant bar after bar time changes, and it still sounds so smooth. And the fact is, it shows a fantastic display of rhythmic knowledge for a man who, I am reliably informed, used to be a drummer. And to be honest, you could just tell, just by listening to some of the guitars, you could tell it's Misha, because even though he's not the only guitarist in the band, you could tell when he writes something more than the others, because his guitar tone is a tad more distinctive. Not to say any better or worse, but it's more distinctive. So yeah, next song actually sounds a bit industrial in a way. This song is The Parade of Ashes, written entirely by Spencer, the lead vocalist. Um, as I say, it's easily the most different sounding song on the whole release, because it's the most different, and it's arguably the most unique song Periphery have written to date, because again it sort of goes away from on the whole kind of gent vibe, and it actually sounds a bit like an industrial rock track in a way, sort of along the lines of your Nine Inch Nails, and even tiny hints of early Slipknot, which I find really bizarre. Um, yeah, it was just hearing it. I'm not hearing Periphery. I'm not hearing Periphery when I hear a song. I'm hearing Killing Joke. I'm hearing Jazz Coleman of Killing Joke. I'm hearing Trent Reznor. Yeah, but yeah, some people of those types. It's really bizarre. But I think this is what sets it apart. Yeah. So yes, this really sets apart from not just what they do, what they do, but is completely what anyone else in the genre is doing. Right. The next track is another instrumental written by the British man. It's Nolly, the bass player, writes a song called Extraneous. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've never really been sure. Um, Again, it's the album's technically third, but really second instrumental track. And the one thing I'm going to say it's probably the heaviest track in this collection of songs or project as I want as I think is the best way to call it. I think it's works. I think it's the heaviest because well, for one thing, there's that quite enormous breakdown. Again, that was posted in the teaser for the release. If you heard that, you'll know the bit I'm talking about. But overall, it's the track on this release that I think wears Periphery's Meshuggah influence most on its sleeve. Because obviously, it's no secret Misha Mansour, in particular, has a huge influence from Meshuggah. And I think that track, and I think there's a couple of tracks on on all three of their releases, be it the Icarus or the Lives EP or the two albums. There's at least one track which wears the influence right on its sleeve, and I think in this case, this instrumental is that. And the last track on this is written by Mark Holcomb, yeah. And is called Pale Aura. Slightly pretentious name, but whatever. And again, again, very much like Jake's track, actually. Like on Jake's track, it's very catchy, instantly memorable vocal hooks, and in this case, probably, probably the most easy song to look at if you want to analyze it from a musical theory harmonic standpoint. Which, don't worry, I won't. I don't want to bore you half to death. But yeah, it was a sort of very two kind of it's based on three very kind of simple harmonic progressions. But the thing with that song is again is how it ends. Just when it drops down to the ambient bit and is and singing that refrain and it keeps getting louder and louder and then they get steadily more drums, the guitars come in, and then right at the end, just when everyone goes mad with kind of double timey rhythms, it's like, oh, that's yeah. I sound stupid when I put it like that, but it just really got me. It just really got me in a really good way. That did. It felt alive, and as such, that song is my favorite on the and as such, that song is my favorite on the release as a whole. Okay, now that's all the songs. Now, how would I rate the album? How would I rate the release as a whole? Now, see, I'm going to, for future reference, I'm going to be doing all my final ratings out of 10 because it seems like a sensible number to do it. I'm going to rate this album. Oh, it's really hard, but I think I'll give it an 8.5 because it is it's a spectacular it's a spectacular collection of music. There's no two ways about it. It's absolutely spectacular, and it makes and it's a fantastic and it's the first, in my opinion, the first big, solid, capable release of the year. It's the biggest. It's the best way, as the best possible way that metal music, in its own right, because it started the year. It's not perfect, of course not. But nothing is. But this comes pretty damn close. Right, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time with a review of. Let's go for something older this time. A review of last year's Alice in Chains album, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. Thanks very much. Bye.